Ohayou gozaimasu.
Buenos dias.
Buongiorno.
Whoa, French titty? Really?
Hey man, I don't know if anyone heard out there, but I just went to France recently. I'm just trying to make sure everyone knows
That you're
about
well
me and what I'm
traveled.
doing. Yeah.
Right on. Well, anyways, welcome back to the Breakfast Podcast. Today we're here with David Maley. And if you can't already tell, this is Titty's dad. Welcome to the podcast, David.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we appreciate you bringing us Duncan. Today's sponsor is Duncan by David. And I guess we'll start off there. Every time you come to visit us, you always go to Duncan. Duncan seems to be your favorite spot to go at 5 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock at night, either way. You're always been a Duncan man.
Well, it's not anything that I prefer myself. It's my daughter. She's hooked on, let me see if I can say it right. Medium size, cold coffee. I can't remember it all. I have it on my phone, though.
Yeah.
And I take it in there and I show them the phone.
Yeah.
And they know exactly what to get her.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that's why you're always getting Duncan. When
That's
you visit
right.
us here in
Duncan
Tucson.
Donuts. That's right. For Savannah.
Well, this is mostly about you. So what's your Duncan order?
Well, I like coffee.
Yeah.
Some people might say I'm addicted to it. I don't really think so. It's just, something I've been doing since I went in the Marine Corps, 1960. I don't think it's a habit or anything like that. It's just something that I do when I get up. I could quit anytime I wanted.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you recall the time I had you do a fast, like a cleanse for 3 weeks, and what happened when you quit off coffee right after that for a couple days?
Oh, I couldn't remember that. I got a headache.
He was in bed. He couldn't eat or drink anything for 2 days, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Just on and off the toilet.
That sounds pretty severe, David.
Quit whenever he wants.
See, one of the things about being 78 is your memory's not very good.
Yeah.
At least in my case. So I'm just going to say I really don't remember all that. I do remember that I took a cleanse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember all of that.
Yeah.
Except that I couldn't. Lunch was a piece of meat or a piece of fish and a vegetable. Anyways, it was very, very small.
Yeah.
And Timothy got it all, and it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you feel clean after that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Good deal. Well, when it comes to your coffee, do you drink it black?
Oh no.
No.
No, I cream, no sugar.
Just cream?
Yeah, just cream.
Right on.
Yeah. I was introduced to it, and I have a friend named McFerrin,
Mm-hmm.
and whenever we stopped, when I was in the Marine Corps, first thing he would do is start a fire and start heating coffee,
Mm-hmm.
and then they put instant coffee in it.
Yeah.
So I got in the habit of going over there, and the next thing you know, I was one of the guys that was always heating coffee, and
Yeah.
that's how I got started on it.
Right on. Well, how do you make coffee at home?
Oh, preferably I have when I was married, I had a bean crusher,
Mm-hmm.
and I put the beans in it holds a pound of coffee beans, and then I just crush them, put them in the coffee pot,
Yeah.
and I have fresh coffee every morning, crushed beans. But since my divorce,
You lost the bean crusher in the divorce?
well, no, I had the bean crusher. I don't have any beans.
Oh.
Yeah, something to do. You were not going to believe this. I guess I can say this. My ex said that my money was the money that I contributed to the household paid for my coffee, and now that I'm not married, I realize I can't afford coffee beans anymore. She might have had a point.
That's an awful lot of coffee. Well, what's your go-to coffee brand these days? Are you like a Folgers, a U-Band man?
Walmart Folgers.
Walmart Folgers,
Yeah,
right on.
least expensive.
Yeah.
Buy a 3-pound can,
Mm-hmm.
keep it in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
If you don't drink it, let it set and then nuke it the next day and drink it.
Right on. Tim,
Yeah.
do you do Folgers? Do you Folgers?
So I don't drink a lot of coffee, but I think I've spent enough time around the cycling community that I've become a little bit, I don't know, hoity-toity about my coffee a little bit. And so for me, if it's Folgers, I'd just rather not drink it.
What?
Yeah. That's what amazes me. Like, I don't know. It's just there's certain stuff that I really like. You know, like Presto's always good. You know, you go down there every once in a while for a coffee. Really tasty. It's pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know, every few times a week maybe.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm a little bit more particular. But because if it's not great, I'd rather just drink tea than Folgers coffee.
See, I'd rather have shitty coffee than better coffee any day.
Right. Do you think it's because you actually like the taste better, or do you can't distinguish it?
Oh, I can.
You can distinguish the difference.
First time I went to a local fancy diner place here, thinking it was going to be regular diner food, ordered coffee. It was very high-end, very fancy coffee. I couldn't finish my cup. It was too good.
What do you mean too good?
Too much flavor, it didn't taste like coffee, you know? It tasted like it had too much going on.
Really?
Yeah.
But when it comes to food, like, I don't know, your breakfast, more flavor the better. But when it comes to coffee, less flavor is a good thing.
For me, yeah, personally.
It occurred to me, listening to the two of you, that if taste is important in your coffee, I might possibly be addicted. Because it doesn't make a difference to me. Oh, taste is important? Oh, well, I'll have to look into that.
I was going to say, because my dad, so when usually when I make coffee, I've got a French press coming in the mail, but usually I use like a little pour over, right? I don't have anything fancy. I just take an electric kettle and I pour it over.
The fact that you say the word pour over seems a little fancy to me.
Well, I like it because it doesn't require a coffee pot.
Yeah.
I like to make one cup at a time. It's very rare anyone in my house wants coffee at the same time. And so, you know, being able to make 2 cups at a time is not a big deal. So I prefer to just do it that way. But when my dad comes over, I think it's a bit of a process because he's used to just having a pot that he could just pull out and pour and just have a pot at any given time. Because he's a slow drinker. That's the thing, is he drinks a lot of coffee, but he doesn't drink it very fast. It'd take him like, you know, half a day or so to get through that. So the problem is I don't have a microwave either.
Yeah.
And so when he comes over, he'll get Duncan Donuts coffee or his Folgers coffee, and then periodically throughout the day he'll pour the entire cup into a pot and heat it on the stove, pour it back into the cup, sip it a little bit, and then pour it back into a pot, heat it up. I've never seen anybody do that before.
Well, as I say, taste is not important. But I was thinking about, I was so disappointed that he doesn't have a microwave.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, I should get him a microwave. And then it dawned on me, if I were to give him a microwave, I'd have to take the one he gave me for my house that I'm using back here.
Actually, that being said, there's a microwave sitting in my yard that I'm not using.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I was wondering because every time he's like, "Oh, you don't have a microwave," and every time it's like he completely forgets. And I just stopped telling him that he has my microwave.
I remembered it this morning.
It's been weeks and weeks of this.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, let's back up a little bit. Normally, at this point, we kind of discuss what we had for breakfast today. So I'll start off. This morning, I got up early, then slept in, then was going to go ride, but then figured out that it was too late to go ride because we're doing this podcast thing. So I went and had breakfast, and I went to it's called the Baja Cafe. Our friend Matt told me that it has good eggs Benedict, and I had the Coyote Benedict. It was okay. Bacon was a little overcooked. Toast was a little hard. So that's what I had for breakfast today.
Where's the Baja Cafe?
Over at the Albertsons Plaza on
Campbell. Okay.
Very crowded though, and some of the other food there looked really good. But I mean, it wasn't a bad eggs Benedict. It just wasn't as fancy as I thought it was. I mean, it was fancy. It just was overcooked. But the egg was cooked perfectly, which I guess is the most important part.
Yeah. I'd never been over there. I didn't know there was a spot. I guess part of this is what we talked about doing in the future is doing reviews of different breakfast places. And so today was our Dunkin' Donuts. We're going to do a review. Keep it easy, but maybe next time at least one of us will try someplace new and do a review.
That sounds like fun. But what'd you have for breakfast? What'd you have from Dunkin'?
So I just assumed my dad was going to go get donuts by the time I was up, and I was correct. And so I kind of also was going to go for a ride and slept in and realized it was way too hot by the time I got up to go ride. And so normally I'm not a donut person. I feel guilty about it. It's tasty, but I usually avoid it. And luckily he did get my favorite donut, which is a double chocolate.
Yeah.
Second favorite donut. I have a
What's
philosophy.
your first?
Boston cream.
Yeah.
Boston cream's my favorite, but I have a policy, especially in delicious foods like donuts. I try not to enjoy anything too much.
Yeah.
And so I always have my second or third favorite thing. Because to eat my favorite thing is too close to like the temptation of addiction. I don't like to enjoy it too much because deep down I feel guilty at the same time.
I mean, in theory, you're having the same amount of calories. You might as well the one you enjoy most.
I guess. But then you're that much closer to, me on my way to Duncan Donuts at 6 o'clock in the morning on a weekday. I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of becoming my father.
Well, what'd you get? Did you get any food from Duncan this morning, David?
No, as a matter of fact, speaking of breakfast, obviously our minds don't work the same way because Timothy mentioned, when you did, we were going to have this podcast this morning, and when I woke up at 5, and then nobody was up, so I laid back down till 6, and I thought, well, we're going to have a podcast. Maybe Shota will be here early, and Timothy, since they know they're going to do this, and we'll go to Frank's. Because I was introduced to Frank's, I guess it was.
Frank's is number one.
Yep. And I enjoyed going. I thought, well, maybe they'll both get up early. We'll get to go to Frank's. Everybody will get up. We'll go have breakfast over at Frank's, and then we'll come back. Well, I waited, and I said 7 o'clock came, and nobody came here.
Yeah.
And I said 8 o'clock. And I thought, well, if they don't come, Savannah's going to want something. So I'll go get her some. Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Her coffee and her donut, a bagel and cream cheese. And then I thought, well, it's too early. She won't be up. So I'll wait. Then I waited, and I waited, and I waited.
A lot of waiting this morning.
Oh, yeah. Nobody comes. When you get up at 5 o'clock, that's what happens.
Oh,
and nobody shows up. So finally at 9 o'clock, I decided, well, if I go now, she might be up when I get back. Yeah. So I went and I got it takes about 4 or 5 different things to get that coffee she orders.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's not, you can't just go in there and say, give me a coffee with cream. None of that. Matter of fact, I'm going to.
Let's have a look at this coffee order.
Yeah, this is the coffee order here. Let me find it here. And I just take my phone and I scroll down to her name. And I punch it, and it says, and I show it to the lady.
You show it to her. You don't read it to her?
Oh, it's easier for her to understand me if I show it to her.
Yeah.
And I say, medium caramel ice signature latte.
Signature.
A raisin bagel with cream cheese.
Okay.
That's how it's done.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do when she starts texting you, and then that order goes higher in your? You have to scroll through the text messages to find it.
She won't be here. She'll be back in Michigan, which I would rather she be here, and I would just keep bringing it down. But
I see.
Yeah, I have to.
So next time she comes to visit, she'll have to retext you the order.
Oh, by the time she comes back next year, she's a woman. Her mind will have changed. It goes with the territory. They have the option. What is it? What is it? I can't remember the correct word for it. The woman's prerogative. That's it. It's a woman's prerogative to change her mind.
Yeah.
And then you, of course, have to understand that's coming. Don't assume you know, because you don't know. And then, when they come, you question it. And they, of course, tell you right away, well, how come you don't remember? Well, I did remember, but I didn't want to, I didn't know if you would change your mind yet. So, here we are.
Some life lessons. Huh?
Yeah, life lessons. You can't win for losing.
Yeah.
But it's better than not playing.
All right. Well, let's talk about your regular breakfast. We've gone out to visit you down at your place, and we've been greeted in the morning to a delicious breakfast of eggs, potatoes, bacon, and coffee. Is that a normal breakfast for you?
No, but it is when I have company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your company breakfast.
Right. When when I was married the first time, I never cooked.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, well, and matter of fact, I didn't cook one the second time. But by the time I got married the third time, I said I might better change.
Yeah.
Start doing something different. And so my mother got me this thing that you mix pancakes with. This have a little circle on it, and you mix the batter like that.
Yeah.
And I said, if I ever get another woman, I'm gonna make her pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
And start her day off.
Yeah.
That's how I got started off on the breakfast. Well, then potatoes got added in when I learned that they're easy to do.
Yeah.
I prefer cooking them in butter. But as I say that, my son sitting next to me here, he'd rather have olive oil.
Yeah.
But I'll cook them in butter. And every once in a while, I'll pretend like I put olive oil in. He already knows I already put butter in it.
Yeah. No, I mean, he doesn't notice half the time. And I think at the end of the day, he really appreciates it when we feed him non-vegan food. It's good for him. Yeah. I mean, he enjoys the taste. He's not going to say nothing, right? But, man.
Well, you know,
you see a little twinkle in his eye when he tastes that butter. He's like, "Ooh, dang, that's naughty."
Yeah, I know.
He's not supposed to be eating it, but he likes it.
I know it.
Yeah.
But you know, they got an expression. I don't know if you've ever heard it. You know, you pray in one hand and you poop in the other, and the one you get the most, see which one you get the most of. So when he comes to my house, he's looking for vegan. I do my best to give him vegan.
Yeah.
I cannot not put a little butter in there.
Yeah.
There's something about it, you know, that goes with my personality. I know it's not right. It's wrong, but that's what makes it taste
I don't
for
know
me.
if it's wrong. I just think,
Yeah. So I cut the potatoes up and onions. I put a little onion. I don't know if you ever seen Justin Winters, the Cajun cook.
No, I've never seen.
Oh my God, he was good. He used to say, "You put a little onion, it's good, I guarantee." So I put a little onion.
You gotta have some onions.
Yeah. Onion and green pepper.
Yeah.
And then if you have any leftover meat, makes no difference what it is. You cut it all up. Like when I cooked breakfast for the girls the other day, we had some leftover steak that we got from the University of Arizona. Timothy, we went over to that store.
Oh, yeah.
I cooked it up. So I cut some of that up. Then I had some Cajun sausage made with pork, and then some bratwurst, and I think I had I cut them all up into little pieces, and I put them in the frying pan, and a little butter.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little butter, and mix them up there, and then of course it's when you got two things going. When you got the potatoes going, and I put the eggs in the microwave. Timothy's microwave. That maybe I could get it here quicker if I would remember and say Timothy's microwave instead of I keep thinking it's my microwave.
Well, it's yours now. He likes to brag about how he doesn't have a microwave because he's so fancy.
Oh, that is it.
And I've got one in the yard. If he wants one, he can come pick it up.
Good. He doesn't have an excuse anymore.
Right. There's a free one sitting in my backyard that's all his if he wants it.
Oh,
I just don't need one. I eat all my food. So that's the thing. I guess maybe it's a selfish thing because in my mind, I never need a microwave because if I have a certain amount of food, I never have leftovers because I just eat it all. I drink my coffee, so I don't need to reheat it. I just never find myself in a position where I need a microwave. But maybe that's selfish because the only times it's ever an issue is when I have company over and then they have this expectation that everyone has a microwave.
The crappiest of motels have a microwave in at least the lobby.
And coffee makers, and I have neither.
Yeah.
You're familiar with those places?
Well, I've been to a few.
Well, I think I've been to a few myself.
But let's move on to the next bit of conversation here. What do you think about vegan Tim? Like Tim being vegan, because he hasn't always been vegan, but now he's vegan for love, and it makes it difficult for the rest of us to love him. Well, because he won't eat the food we want to cook. He doesn't want to go the places we want to go.
I give him credit. He tries very hard to go along and find something on the menu that might please him.
For sure. He's not a whiny vegan by any means.
It's Tiffany that became a vegan. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because Tiffany has not been a vegan long as he has.
Yeah.
It's a little more difficult to her to find something But she's getting better because now she, like him, has decided to every once in a great while add something that's on the menu to please everybody else because they're going to be happy and get something. So it's all working out.
Yeah.
It's all working out. So I wish him well.
Yeah.
I can't do that myself, the vegan. But I probably could.
Yeah, I mean, coffee's vegan.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I can
Yeah,
quit
maybe the cream. You'd have to quit the cream in the coffee to go vegan.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You can't have cream in a coffee
No.
when you're vegan?
No, vegan
see,
means
that
you
I
can't
don't-
have any animal products.
Well, there we go right there. See, I don't have a chance.
Okay. Well,
So I guess this is a testament to the lack of selfishness that I have. A lot of times, I know my dad likes cream in his coffee.
Yeah.
So he'll come over here, I'll lay the coffee stuff out. I'll make it for him if I can. If I know he's going to be up 5 hours before I'm awake, I'll leave it out for him. And then it's funny because I'll get up in the morning, I'll like search through to see if he found everything okay. And he always has a problem with like there not being any cream or any milk. So to him, cream is just milk. He just adds like, milk to his,
milk.
whole milk, no 2%, nothing like that, into his coffee. And so we have almond milk or soy milk or something like that. Usually, a lot of times he'll open the door and he can't see it because he doesn't identify that is milk or that's cream. And so he won't be able to find it even though it's in there. And so what I've started to do now is anytime we're at like a university event or like a work meeting or anything like that, or you get takeout or something, they have those little creamers that you get in a cafe or a little restaurant. I take those and I just pocket some of them.
Yeah.
And then I'll just put them in the drawer. And so when he's here, there's some in the drawer for him.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, see, we're back to taste is important. And when taste is important, those things count.
Yeah.
As for me, taste not being important, the main thing is that I get coffee with something in it that resembles cream.
Yeah.
It can be powdered cream.
Right.
It can be, and he's right. He hit the nail right on it. I couldn't see it if it was a snake. I cannot identify.
Well, have you
that.
tried any of the vegan creamers? Like,
No.
oat milk is fairly good, or like almond milk, or soy milk, or any of
I've
those.
had oat milk. Is that what I had, Savannah? Oat milk? I've tried that.
How was it?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I wouldn't buy any, but I'll eat it because she has it. Yeah, it's good enough. It's good enough that if it's in the cereal and I'm eating her cereal, it's fine.
You'll be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you've been around quite a while. What's the best breakfast you've ever had?
Wow.
Or most memorable breakfast where you're just like, wow, that was an amazing breakfast.
You're talking to somebody whose mind and memory is I have what they call short-term memory loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I abused my brain when I was younger with alcohol. And so one of the penalties for that is short-term memory loss.
I see.
So I can remember things that happened when I was 4, 5, 6, 10 years old, and yet I can't remember necessarily what I had yesterday for breakfast. So that's a difficult question for me. I can say this: the breakfast that I remember most recently would be the one we had the other day at Frank's.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a pretty darn good breakfast.
Well, I was as I ordered.
Yeah.
My son said, "My God," he said, "Shota doesn't even order that."
Yeah.
And he can't eat that. And I said, well, I really wasn't intending to eat it all. I just wanted it all.
Did you eat it all?
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
no. But they give these boxes.
Yeah.
And I'm in the habit of ordering it, get a box, put it in a box, take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it home. And then I have this microwave.
Right.
And
Tim's microwave.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Tim's microwave. And I'll put it in a microwave, and then I can eat it then. So I'm the kind of person that will look at a menu and say, $18. Oh, my God, that's expensive. Then it'll come. There'll be so much food. I'll take half of it home, and I'll eat it again. Then I breaks it down. I paid $9 because I got 2 meals.
Right.
Now, when I get to the second day, I say, oh, that wasn't a bad price at all, $18.
Yeah.
But initially,
It's a hard pill to swallow to start
$18
off
is killing me. Yeah.
The problem is that he still does this when he's here in Tucson, and he'll forget again, there's no microwave at my house. And then there's just biscuits and gravy cold in the refrigerator. And then someone just has to bite the bullet and eat cold biscuits and gravy.
And I noticed somebody did. Oh, my God, Savannah's pointing over here. Was it me? Oh, him.
Here's the thing. Over.
Wait, Cecile's not allowed to know that he had gravy.
I think Cecile would forgive me because over veganism, over health, all of those things, I hate wasting food. And so when it's in my refrigerator, and I haven't been to the grocery store in a while, so it's not like there's much in there else to eat.
Yeah.
To me, to just take that and throw it away, it just feels terrible. And so I was like, I'll make the sacrifice.
I'll sacrifice by eating these delicious
And so
biscuits and gravy.
But the problem is, I try not to talk about it because I know that now that he's hearing me say this, he'll justify himself now by doing the same thing he always does, leaving it, and then I'm stuck eating it again.
Amazing and delicious gravy. Well, let's back up a little bit, David. I wanted to ask you something. Do you mind if
can I answer that question for him real quick? Okay. So no, so I know he has a hard time remembering things, but one thing I will say about my dad is that, again, like what he hasn't said is a lot of times he'll skip breakfast or something, and then he'll have like a late breakfast or a brunch or dinner or something like that. And, just have coffee in the morning. So to my dad, one of the things I know about him is one of the things that I've seen him, physically get the most pleasure from is when he's cooking for other people.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think makes the more memorable meals for him that I've remembered in my life is that it's when he's having breakfast or he's cooking breakfast for other people. He really enjoys that versus just what he thought was the most flavorful or best breakfast. And so the thing that comes to mind is when, with our family back in Michigan, we'd have an arrangement where Christmas Eve we would have dinner at my sister's house, and then on Christmas Day my dad would make this huge brunch, and it was like an unbelievable amount of bacon, eggs, pancakes, like anything that you could want for breakfast food, it was all there. Fried potatoes that he was talking about, and it would have this like this island in our, it's maybe 3 times the size of this table here, and it would just be completely full of like enormous trays of, he would cook like 3 pounds or 10 pounds of bacon or something like that at a time.
That's an insane amount of bacon.
Yeah, way more than the 15 of us could ever eat. Right. But yeah, again, new microwaves. So.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to back up and ask you. You mentioned you used to drink. You have been sober for quite a long time, right?
34 years.
That's quite a while.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, when you were drinking, did you have a preferred breakfast or brunch alcoholic beverage?
Well,
like for some folks, they really like Bloody Marys.
If they were available, that's a very good drink to start. The main thing is something.
Something.
Yeah. If it was beer, warm beer. In the end, I was so bad there that to go to work at 7 in the morning, I'd wake up at, say, 3, sick, get in the bathtub, make the water as hot as I could get it, and then just sweat. And I'd take a beer in there with me, and I'd sip on it.
Yeah.
And if I could sip on that beer and hold it down, then I'd get out of the tub and go to bed. If I couldn't, of course, I vomited, and then I'd get back in the bathtub and do it again till I could hold the beer, and then a lot of times it was time to go to work then. So really, it was anything.
Yeah.
And the interesting part of it all is there was nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
I can remember my wife hollering, "You stupid son of a, don't you know that shit is poison?" And I'm looking in the mirror. All the blood vessels in my face and my nose are busted. My eyes are swollen big. And I'm looking, I'm thinking, what the hell is she talking about? She's just poison. I'm just vomiting. Something that was an everyday occurrence.
Yeah.
It's a really it's a disease that it tells you don't have it.
Right.
It said you don't have that. I could see it in my friends. It was easy for me to see it in Kevin and Tom and the rest of them. Some guys are sick, man. They're alcoholics. Never dawned on me I was with them all the time.
Yeah.
Drinking the same way they were drinking. And I never, because I got my real drinking in the military. I got started and it was, they had a guy, his name was Chesty Puller. He was a famous Marine. He was a general. He said, "Don't send my Marines pogey baked candy." He said, "Send them money so they could buy whiskey and women." And I said, "Man, I belong here."
Yeah.
And so we drank. That's what we did. And I didn't drink all the time. I just drank every time I had a chance.
Yeah.
So if I didn't have a chance, I didn't drink. No big deal. But as soon as I had a chance, I drank.
Mm.
And I never put them in the same basket, that there was that I was doing it. I had to do it. I always thought I was doing it for fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to have some fun with
I
it.
guess especially in the military, in the Marines and stuff, if you weren't drinking, it's because you're working. And so when you're drinking, it's because you're off work and you're
That's right.
basically on the weekend or vacation.
That's right.
Yeah.
But some of the guys, when they ran out of money, they didn't drink. Now, people like me, when we ran out of money, we went and started borrowing money.
Yeah.
You got a few pennies, you ain't doing what, give me the money, and we'd do that, and we'd finally get enough for a bottle of wine, for instance.
Yeah.
They used to have this song out, White Port Lemon Juice.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend Peanut, he was this a black guy from Chicago.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, white port, you take white port wine and you add lemon juice, so white port lemon juice. And so we'd go and collect nickels and dimes till we got enough, and then we'd buy a gallon, and then we drink it like that. So it was just it was a way of life for me, and I didn't understand that I had a real problem because I rose. I did really good in the military.
Mm-hmm.
Drinking never stopped me from getting promoted. Drinking never stopped me from any of those things. But in that field, it was acceptable.
Right.
It was acceptable.
Especially back in the day when you were signed up.
Yeah. So I remember when they first came out with the thing saying, well, they're going to help. If you have an alcohol problem, just come in and we'll help you with the problem. And I remember thinking, who would be that dumb? Who the hell would be that dumb that they would go and tell them they had an alcohol problem? You know they're going to get you.
Yeah.
I said, it never occurred to me to turn myself in.
Yeah.
You know, it never. I didn't even look at it that I had a problem. I just said if anybody had a problem and they went and told them, they were stupid.
Yeah.
And but I've been to 13 countries, and every time I went somewhere, all I ever thought about doing was getting back to where I was, my hometown, and drinking it with my friends. And what I found out was that I got to drink long enough that I got to go back there and drink till they didn't want me around. I got to drink till nobody wanted me around. And I look back at it and I thought, it's really something that all I ever thought about doing was going back there drinking with my friends. And I drank so much that I ruined all of that. I ruined all of that because the selfishness and self-centered.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how selfish I was. I just thought, well, when I was married, I would make sure the bills were paid. But anything past that was my drinking money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't think about putting money away for savings or anything like that. I would drink it. And well, here I am today, and coffee and breakfast.
Yeah.
And one of the things that Timothy mentioned was, making breakfast. See, that's something I never ever did when I was drinking when I was young. It never occurred to me to make something for somebody else.
Yeah, or even for yourself.
Yeah, even for myself. If it was a bologna sandwich, I wouldn't put mustard on it. I didn't. The hell with the mustard. Well, what I found out was that there's a joy that comes in doing things for other people.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And I have no real experience in doing things for other people. I had to learn how to do things for other people, and what I started with was cooking.
Yeah.
I started with
it's an
pancakes.
Easy one because everyone's got to eat.
Yep, everybody's got to eat. So I started to try to, cook for people when I got a chance, and I realized what a real blessing that is to spend some time preparing something for somebody else to enjoy themselves. So I really enjoyed the Christmas breakfasts and that opportunity that I had to make them for other people.
Yeah.
But the joy came from never having experienced that in my youth, up until, I quit drinking when I was 44. So I drank from 14 to 44. That was a 30-year stint. So during all of that time, none of that came into play.
Right.
I thought I was generous. I thought I was, but everything for me was self-centered. Everybody knew on Friday night I was gone. I'm the only one that didn't know.
Yeah.
In my mind's eye, Friday night, tonight I'm going to go home I'm gonna get my check cashed, and then tomorrow morning I'm gonna get up, do work around the house, and I'll take the wife and kids here or there. And my intentions were good. Every Friday night I was gonna do that, but of course everybody knew, but me, that come Friday night I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
And how it would happen is I would go home, and my wife would have prepared something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was the wrong meal.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't tasty. She done something wrong. I'm not eating this shit. I'm gone. Or I would go home. I'm way too happy. I'm going out with the boys.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But whether it was because she didn't cook something right or what was because I was too happy, I was always gone.
Mm-hmm.
Now you would never know if I was going to be home Saturday, Sunday, or Monday,
Mm-hmm.
or when I was going to be home. I didn't know that because
Yeah.
I didn't even think I was going out.
Right.
But it happened every Friday,
Wow.
week after week, month after month, year after year. I don't know how anybody put up with me
Yeah.
when I look back at it. And the fact is, I really didn't know that I wasn't going to do that.
Mm.
And then the fact that I thought I was going to stay home, I guess I thought I did
Yeah.
because I had thought that I was going to do it, but I never did it. I always took my money and went to the bar.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very grateful that those days are past. And I look at it, and I would rather, and I said this prayer that God go ahead and take me home before you let me pick up a drink. I would never want to pick up a drink again because I picked one up at 14, and I couldn't put it down till I was 44 after I destroyed everything in my life.
Yeah.
And I never knew it was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I got sicker than a dog the first time I did it. I said, I'll never do it again.
Yeah.
Same thing that happened to me when I got my appendix and my tonsils out.
Mm-hmm.
That night when I got drunk, I said, I'll never drink again. It was just like when I took my tonsils and had the ether, what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Never drink again. The next day I was right back in drinking.
Yeah.
Next day, and I couldn't stand the taste of it.
Mm-hmm.
I drank for, I think, five or 6 years and hated the taste of alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
But I would drink it anyways.
Yeah.
Drink it. And there's part of the reason that I can look back and never was alcohol a problem.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was always over there. I was always able to blame something. Never was alcohol. And then drugs got into it too. Because I remember somebody said, oh, you know, if you smoke marijuana, you could quit drinking. I said, really? You could quit drinking if you don't smoke? If you smoke marijuana? Sure. Well, let me try some of that. So I smoked it. And what happened was, instead of me quitting drinking, I'd have a marijuana joint in one hand and a drink in the other. I never quit shit. Yeah. I just added to it. I remember one time I was at this a friend of mine's house, and he had this girlfriend over there, and she was mixing up drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what is that you're doing? She said, oh, I'm mixing up boy and girl. I said, what's boy and girl? She said, well, that's coke and that's heroin. And she's mixing it up, you know. And she said, would you like some? And I looked at her and I thought, I don't think that'd be a good idea. And she said, well, why? I said, because what are you going to do with me? She said, what do you mean? I said, well, if I take some of that, how are you going to get rid of me? You know, I'll be at your house all the time, banging on the door. I want some more of that shit.
Yeah.
I said, I don't think it's a good idea for me to have any of that. And that was one of the smartest moves I ever made. I didn't take any of that.
Yeah.
Because my experience said that no matter what it was, if I tried it and I liked it, I did it.
Yeah.
If I tried it and I didn't like it, I did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just didn't matter.
Okay.
That's the difference between an addictive mind.
Yeah.
So I'm a happy, joyous, and free person who would rather cook breakfast.
Okay. Well, when it comes to cooking breakfast, David, are you a conventional toaster guy, or do you prefer a toaster oven?
Oh, well, I would have to say a regular. I don't have a toaster oven.
No. Have you ever tried one?
I don't think I have.
No.
No.
Yeah, like maybe at a Holiday Inn or something like that with the free breakfasts at hotels.
Oh yeah, I did. I have done that. Yeah.
Where you pull it open and you can
Oh
slide
yeah,
it in there.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. I don't know if I did anything with that, but the bagel, right? No, I don't even think I used that there because I take the egg out and no, I don't think I used the toaster. No.
Well, this has been an ongoing debate on our podcast, and we like to poll all of our people that we bring on because Shota and I have a disagreement where I'm a conventional toaster guy, he's a toaster oven guy.
Yeah.
And so we like to see where people stand, and that's nice to hear we have one more person on the conventional side. But
Only out of lack of experience, right? This is an ignorance call.
True enough.
Because he hasn't done it.
78 years, if he wanted to, he could have. But I just like to say that I think Shota has an update for us on the toaster oven from our previous sponsor.
So
Okay.
I caught the toaster oven on fire, which isn't unusual, right? I had a cinnamon roll in there. The cinnamon dropped down on the element and it caught on fire. So at the moment, my toaster oven is out of commission.
Well, so you said as a kid, whenever your toaster oven caught on fire, as if this happens all the time, you would just throw it in the pool.
Right.
You don't have a pool anymore.
Yeah.
How did you?
Now that I'm a grown ass man, I'm a lot more calm and calculated about these things, right? Marco calls me, fire, toaster oven's on fire. I walk into the kitchen, I unplug the toaster, I carry it outside, right? Go back inside, grab a glass of water, come back outside, sprinkle it in there, fire out. No dramas. As a kid, you just take it outside, throw it in the pool.
No, most kids would just freak out, run away, and the house would be burned
you can
down.
just pick it up. Like, it's inside the toaster oven. You can just carry the fire around.
Well, I can see the growth in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
You just set it down outside, you splash it a little bit, or let it burn out. But anyways, I need a new heating element for my toaster. And in the meantime, Shelby got me an air fryer. So we've been using an air fryer to toast our toast. And we might have to have Marco back on because he freaking loves it. He loves the air fryer. My only complaint about the air fryer is that if you have like something loose and light, it will fly around. So like say you want to put some spinach and cheese on like a toast, because that's really good. You put toast, like a bagel, spinach, cheese, put in the toaster, right? Nice, crispy. The spinach will fly around if it's not weighted because there's a fan in the air fryer.
Oh.
That's the only downside. Aside from that, I will say when you're reheating pizza, used to be toaster oven all the way. However, the air fryer is spectacular. I mean, it's next level. If you're reheating pizza for breakfast, the air fryer is just next level. The way it just warms it up, it's a whole new ball game. I'm serious.
So
it's amazing.
Is it like as if it's like right out of the box again?
Yeah, I mean, even better almost.
What?
Yeah. There's like a special crunch to the crust. Like, oh my goodness. The air fryer, it's a magical being. And like, it's almost like our air fryer is very similar. It's got like an oven door, grate. You can slide stuff in there. So that's the update on the toaster oven in our house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're at a little over 40 minutes, so I think we have time for like another question or two.
Yeah.
And so one thing I wanted to ask you, Dad, was I don't know, it's probably hard to answer based on everything else we heard, but people nowadays know that, the quality of produce, the quality of food is a lot different than it used to be when you were growing up. Like the, produce itself, the flavor, the nutrient quality. Back then it was more common for people to have chickens in their backyard. Now we get all of our eggs and chickens from farm factories. I'm wondering if you have noticed a difference, because I know a lot of times you've gotten a lot of recipes over the years from your mom, and, like the chicken noodle soup and things like that. I'm wondering if in general, breakfast and even food in general, if you've noticed, since the 40s that there's a big difference in the way people eat, what they eat, and, the quality of the food.
Tomatoes was the first indication that I had that they had lost it. When I was a kid, didn't make a difference what garden you got the tomato out of. When you picked up the tomato when it was red and you ate it, you could eat it, and there was just a taste to it. There was a meat to it. Nowadays, it's not even close. It's not even close to what a real tomato tastes like, and it's very disappointing to me. the way what they have done to them. Well, they lost a lot of produce, I guess, in shipping because they used to wait till they got ripe and then buy them when they got ripe. When I was a child, they used to have people coming down the street with wagons being pulled by horses, and they'd be screaming, tomatoes, watermelon, and you go out there and they'd take a knife and they'd cut the watermelon, take a plug out and give you a taste of it, and you want that watermelon? Okay, you buy it. And it was so much better. It's just so much better, all the produce. And now, I don't think you can go to another country even. They've gotten like getting tomatoes from Mexico. It doesn't make any difference if you get them from Mexico or here.
Right.
They've been tampered with.
Yeah.
They're not the same tomatoes. And people are concerned with, well, the fertilizer that they put on them. That's not the problem. The problem is they're using different seeds. And it's not the same tomato. It doesn't have the taste.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the color. And it's that with a number of things.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that grapes, I like the taste of the grapes that they have now better than the grapes the way they used to. But I don't think they're probably as nutritious or whatever. But they're bigger. They don't have any seeds, and they take
grapes.
Yeah. Grapes. I think is a plus. But I miss, and I cannot find. Even if your friends grow tomatoes,
Mm-hmm.
they're using the seeds. They don't have the seeds from the old tomatoes.
Have you tried heirloom seeds or heirloom tomatoes?
No.
You ought to try some of those. Those are supposed to be, well, those are heirloom, as the name mentions, is kind of original or older traditional seeds. I think the big difference between what you may have had as tomatoes as a child and what they have now is they have been bred or engineered to be more shelf stable, more productive, more uniform.
Yep.
And then, vast majority of potatoes are now grown in hydroponic settings where they're not touching the soil anymore, right? They're fed with a nutrient IV opposed to taking nutrients out of the soil. Organically, they're fed on a fertigation system in a big greenhouse because the demand is so high that that's what they have to do to keep up with it. Otherwise, reasonably speaking, there's no way to have as many tomatoes as McDonald's needs in Michigan in the middle of winter. You wouldn't be able to get a tomato on a cheeseburger unless they did that.
Well, I see the necessity, but what we've certainly lost. If you had ever been in your house on a summer's day, a spring day, and you heard somebody hollering watermelon, and you look at you, hey, can we get a watermelon here? Here's $1. Run out there and get a watermelon, or like say tomatoes or whatever that they had, and they bring them right up and down the streets in the city of Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
They had wagons that they delivered them like that, and it's not possible anymore.
Yeah.
I understand why, but I definitely miss it.
Yeah.
I personally rather have it back the old way.
Yeah.
I would personally rather have.
Well, have you been to a farmer's market?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like going to farmers markets, and as I say, you can still find occasionally. I know in Michigan we went to the farmers market, and they actually had plums that were grown from the trees that were old.
Mm-hmm.
You could get real plums, not these plums that they have today. Today the plums are big as apples.
Yeah.
And they're hard as rock. And they in the olden days they were small, and you could bite into them easily. But there are some things that you can still get if you go to a farmer's market. But one where in Michigan it was in Mount Clemens. That one in Mount Clemens, you could actually find some food, not tomatoes, because tomatoes, like I say, they're just you can't find any of the old seeds. So as times change,
Yeah.
what are we going to do?
Try to grow in our own backyards.
Well,
Yeah.
that's it. That's the best way. That's the best way. But what happens if you're lazy like myself?
You gotta find someone who's not lazy.
Yeah, that's it. That's a real problem.
Yeah.
And then with the like where I'm at, I have the water, I have the ground, but if you grow something between the rabbits, the coyotes, the bugs, everything will eat them up.
Yeah.
So you have to cover. Yeah, you have to cover it. You have to have a cover. You can't just have the ground and the water. You now have to have covering for it to be able to bring it to harvest.
Right. It takes so much infrastructure and capital to
Yes.
bring something to harvest.
Yep.
And that's where you come back to now. You kind of have a better understanding of why they grow tomatoes the way they do now. Because if you're already paying for the greenhouse to protect the plants from the animals, pests, and things like that, then you want to make that greenhouse the most productive it possibly could be to pay for your investment. So, anything else we want to talk about, Teddy?
I think I'm good.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention that Savannah, Timothy gave me a cooker, deep fryer,
Yeah.
and I started using it. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And someone had given him a more modern one.
Yeah.
And so I was using the old one. And then my daughter, Susan, sent me the newer one with the air fryer, too.
Yeah.
And I never used the air fryer.
No?
I took the top off, I put it over there, and I never used it. And but I gave the deep fryer that Timothy gave to me to my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And he really likes it. And then I used the new one. So Savannah came, and I get up and she made breakfast. And she cooked the bacon in the air fryer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah. And then.
Was it good?
Oh,
I haven't tried that yet.
It's the best.
Yeah.
You can only get, 3 pieces in there at a time, though?
Yeah.
That's a problem.
More. You just have to mix it around.
You have to mix them around. So she has made me a believer of the air fryer.
Yeah.
That. Now, the reason I never used it is because I have an air fryer that I got a different kind, but it's nowhere near as efficient as the one that my daughter sent me. So I'm a believer in the air fryer.
We might have a new category. It's going to be conventional toaster oven, air fryer.
Air fryer.
I think this might be the first official vote for the air fryer.
We might have a neutral. Technology has brought us a neutrality.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it's you made the baked potatoes.
Yeah.
We came over and he had made baked potatoes, put oil on them and salt and bacon. So what I did was I put them in the microwave and I cooked them for a little bit to get them to going.
Yeah.
And then we put the oil on them, put the salt on them, and we put them in the air fryer. And we put them in the air fryer, and I'll tell you what, they were delicious.
Yeah.
The skin on those things are great. I just love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So baked potatoes, bacon. What else have we cooked in there? I'll just think about it after. Anyways, I'm air fryer.
All right. Well, that's
I'm air
it, folks.
fryer.
Yeah.
We've got a new category. We got our first official vote for the air fryer. We're going to wrap that up here with David. This will start with you, Titty.
Buongiorno.
Buenos dias.
Ohio gozaimasu.
This
This is the Breakfast Podcast.